Let's get started. Who here struggles with drawing? Please let me know if you are currently struggling with your art. All right, so Jennifer said anime poses. Okay, yes, I agree, Jennifer. That is definitely quite challenging. So we do have like FYI, we do have a video about like how to draw dynamic anime poses. So feel free to drop by our YouTube channel to check that out and study a little bit if that's what you're currently struggling with right now. Okay. How long have you been struggling? How many months has it been? How many years has it been that you've been struggling trying to draw anime poses, that you've been struggling with your anime art? Please be specific. And I think like it's really important that we take this time to reflect, right? I feel like no one really, gives time to look back at their journey. And I feel like it's so important that we can actually, take a moment to just reflect on what's happened, what we've done so far, what we're struggling with, right? So, we could actually understand what we've gone through and we can celebrate some of those, like wins that we've had along the way. Okay. So Jennifer said, since high school. Okay, wow. So it sounds like it has been a while for you, Jennifer. Thank you so much for sharing. So I know that for Ricardo, like I remember I've also talked to Ricardo. He also actually mentioned that he has been struggling since he was a student as well. So it seems like, a lot of people go through this for like years at a time, right? Like without actually finding the solution. So the question then is, how come we can't overcome this by ourselves, right? Like, why are we struggling until now? What's missing? What's held us back? And again, it's so important that we figure out what the problem is so we can actually find a proper solution, right? So again, guys, if you've never thought about this before, I highly recommend that you reflect on this, right? Like, how come you've been struggling until now? How come, like you're here in this masterclass looking for more help? Why can't we figure it out ourselves? I think like that's the big question. Yeah, so what do you think, guys? Why do you think you are still struggling until now? Okay, I see no Jacqueline, I think. Yes, no Jacqueline is joining us. Hi, no Jacqueline. Thank you so much for joining. All right. So guys, have you thought about it? Have you thought about why you're struggling with your art? Why you're here in this masterclass looking for help? And I think, one thing I want to point out is there's so much free resources out on the internet, right? Like there's YouTube, there's Google, like there's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and yet even though there's like so many free resources online, we still struggle until now, right? Like that's why you're here in this masterclass. And I just want to reassure you that today, this is going to be different from everything that you have ever tried before, right? Because if we keep doing the same thing, then we are never going to get better. Something has to change, right? So before we go any further, I want to set your expectations right. This is the agenda for this masterclass. We're going to be talking about common drawing mistakes. We're going to be talking about basic drawing foundations and also how to create artworks like pro manga artists. So this is a value-packed masterclass, and I invite you, to give me your full undivided attention as much as you can, and please turn off all distractions. So also shout out to Emily. Hi, Emily. Thank you so much for joining us. So guys, we have talked to a lot of aspiring anime and manga artists. And we've actually talked to some of you in the audience personally on a one-on-one call, right? And we've heard a lot of struggles, a lot of issues from the artists that we talked with. If ever, you can relate to any of these feelings as I read them out loud, please type "I can relate" in the chat, all right? So a lot of anime and manga artists that we talk to tell us that they feel lost, right? They don't know where to start. They feel like they've been drawing for so long, but they don't know what to do in order to improve. They tell us that they feel insecure. They feel like they're not good enough. They feel frustrated because they can't express what they want in their drawings. They have something in their mind, in their imagination, but when they put it on paper, it doesn't look the way they want it to. They also struggle with the lack of motivation, right? They feel like, they can't stay consistent. They say they're too busy. And they also struggle with the lack of support. They don't have a lot of artsy friends. People around them tell them that there's no career in drawing, right? So even though this is something that they're very passionate about, they don't feel like, motivated. They don't feel motivated to continue going on because everyone is just telling them that it's a waste of time. It's a waste of paper, right? So guys, who can relate? If you can relate to any of these, again, please let me know in the chat. Please type I can relate. And I'll be the first to admit, I can relate to all of these, right? And so, if you also feel the same way, right? I just want you to know that you are not alone. We have talked to like hundreds, thousands of artists at this point, and a lot of them share the same feelings, right? So if you're struggling with this, again, please know that you are not by yourself. Okay, Dilek said, she can relate. Yes, Dilek, don't worry because you are not alone. And again, guys, how long have you been feeling this way? How long have you struggled feeling lost, stuck, insecure, frustrated about your art? How long have you struggled with the lack of motivation and support? Has it been months? Has it been years? Has it been decades? We've talked to people that it's been, like almost their whole lives that they've been carrying this emotional baggage around. And if you want to be a better artist, it's not just about technical skill. It's about overcoming this emotional baggage, right? Like that's truly how you become a better artist. So today's masterclass isn't just about learning how to draw. Of course, we'll teach you about that too. Today's masterclass is about empowering you as an aspiring anime and manga artist. We want you to feel more confident in your art. We want you to learn to express your ideas better, feel supported about something that makes you happy. And of course, we want you to enjoy your art journey. So settle in and stick around if you're a beginner anime and manga artist who feels like you're not getting any better and finally want to become more confident and proud of your art. Settle in and stick around if you had to give up your anime and manga art when you were younger and finally feel like this is the right time to explore your passion and artistic talent. Settle in and stick around if you struggle to stay consistent and motivated with your art and want to improve faster with the support of mentors and a community of like-minded individuals. So guys, you can leave the masterclass now if you're only going to listen, but don't take action afterwards, right? So even if you listen in, if you don't apply any of these tips, then nothing is gonna happen. You can leave the masterclass now if you think you can learn and do everything by yourself through YouTube, through social media, through Google, right? So if you have this kind of mindset, then you don't really need us. You can leave the masterclass now if you're not willing to commit and put an effort to practice and make time for your art. So guys, if you are serious about becoming better, right, you really need to invest time into practicing. Like the really good artists that you admire, right? You both have the same 24 hours in a day, right? But what makes the biggest difference is they choose to practice instead of watching Netflix. They choose to practice instead of going out, right? They choose to practice instead of doing something else. So really, that takes commitment. It's a choice, right? Practicing is a choice. It's a conscious effort. It doesn't happen magically overnight. You can leave the masterclass now if you give up easily when things don't go your way. So we are doing this masterclass so we can help make this an easier journey for you. But the thing is, you will still encounter hardships along the way. The emotional struggle that we talked about earlier, you're still gonna feel those, right? But we want to work with artists that are ready to overcome that with us. So, guys, if you're still here with me, I just want to say congratulations. You choosing to stay with me in this masterclass tells me that you are ready to take, your art journey into your hands and transform it into something even more amazing. So, guys, please drop the clapping emoji in the chat section. Let's all celebrate together. This is a conscious choice of you choosing to empower yourself as an aspiring anime and manga artist today. So again, guys, please drop that clapping emoji. Say it loud, say it proud. All right. So I see Dilek, saying that she had been struggling for 3 years with her journey. And, Dilek, I just want to say congratulations to you for finally taking action and working towards changing your situation. That is absolutely amazing. All right. So Jennifer says, I'm serious. Oh, that is so great to hear, Jennifer. And again, I am so happy that, I see you in our lives and you are, very engaged and you're doing your best to actually find resources for yourself. All right. So Ricardo actually asked earlier the time, and I have to go see this later. Okay. So Ricardo, we'll send you like a DM, right, about the information for our live session with our mentor tomorrow. So again, guys, we are gonna do a free critiquing session for art submissions. All right. So if you guys haven't sent in your artworks, please make sure to check our latest post because we have sent the link where you can send in your artworks. All right. So guys, stay until the end for our Q&A, and I will also reveal how you can work with pro-Japanese manga and anime artists. So before we dive into the juiciest bits, here's a little info about us and why we're doing this masterclass. All right, so I see, by the way, shout out to Jennifer for dropping that clapping emoji. Shout out to No Jacqueline for dropping that clapping emoji. Yeah, so Perla Sebastian, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, Monier Games asks, where is the OG live? If you're asking where I am streaming from, I am currently in Tokyo. So hi guys, my name is Trisha and I'm actually the owner of Learn to Draw Manga and also an online art brand called Artillery Philippines. So just like you, I love anime and manga. Because of my passion, I came to Japan in 2013 and have been living here since. So when I came to Japan, I saw so many opportunities for aspiring anime and manga artists here. And one of the biggest opportunities was actually to learning how to draw manga, right? So there were a lot of vocational schools here and people could go to technical colleges for like 2 to 4 years to learn to draw manga. There are also casual manga classes that, kids and working professionals could attend so that they can learn this as a hobby. And when I was younger, I loved anime, manga, and drawing, but there was just no resources to learn how to draw manga, right? Especially during that time, YouTube wasn't a thing. And I thought it was so unfair. Just because I'm not from Japan, I don't have this type of opportunity. So I wanted to bring this opportunity to you. We believe you deserve this opportunity to learn how to draw manga, just like how your favorite pro manga artists do it. If you believe you deserve this opportunity, please type "I deserve this" in the chat. Again, guys, if you believe you deserve this, please type "I deserve this" in the chat. All right. So I think there is like a slight delay right now because I'm streaming on both platforms. So I will check back later to see who thinks they deserve this. All right. So special shout out for Jennifer, for No Jacqueline, for Dilek, right? For Perla. If you guys believe you deserve this, please let me know in the comments. Right. So guys, we thought about how to bring this opportunity to you. And with the typical school setup, there's actually too many logistics, right? Like flying to Japan, learning Japanese. You have to like uproot your whole life just to be able to do this. Plus, it could be quite expensive, right? Like just to go to, manga school in Japan, it would actually cost you at least over 70K US dollars. Right? So I wanted to make learning how to draw manga more accessible and affordable to aspiring anime and manga artists around the world. And that's why we're doing all of this right now. So guys, I just want to shout out Monir Games that's on YouTube right now that says they deserve this. Yes, and Jennifer as well saying that she deserves this. Absolutely. All right. So we at Learn to Draw Manga want to empower each and every one of you so you can experience how your favorite manga artist draws. You can unleash your true artistic potential and better express your ideas, creativity, and emotions through your drawings. We want you to feel more confident and fulfilled through your anime and manga art. And even if you don't pursue this as a career, we want to give you the opportunity to simply have fun, enjoy, and maybe even live your dream. So guys, in line with this mission, we started an anime and manga character drawing course, and the results were just amazing. So this was actually the progress of our student Raven. She joined us back in January, and this is her 1 month progress after joining. And she said, "I drew the most beautiful man I've ever drawn today. I know he needs some tweaks, but I'm so happy with him." This was an artwork from our student Maria, and she said, "This class has made such a difference for me. I tried Mermaid last year and got to sketch 1 day's worth and got disappointed in what I produced that I didn't even finish it. Now, I know how to make the anatomy look believable and really have the confidence to do it. Thank you for teaching me so much." Right. So this is our student Sabrina, right? And this is her 4 month progress. So the one on the left, the submission in January, this is actually the first time that Sabrina created her own original art. So before this, she was just copying artworks from other artists. So in April, she was finally able to draw a full body original character that she designed. So Sabrina said, "What stopped me before was the fear of failure and of making something I would not be satisfied or proud of. What helped me achieve this now is definitely this amazing course. The feedback of the mentors and the support of my classmates are always uplifting." Right? So this was from our student Ginny. So she said, "I immediately redrew my homework to see the difference after attending class. And wow, I felt way more confident and inspired to draw after learning the human body proportions. I can finally draw full body characters, not just headshots. Thank you to my great class friends and mentors." So that was what Ginny did after one session, and this is how much she was able to improve after 1 year. She started off knowing only how to draw half-body characters, and she went on to learning how to draw her own original characters and rendering them in full color. So this one is an 8 month progress from our student Cheryl. Before she joined us, she was actually on a 20-year hiatus. And this is how much she was able to progress in just 8 short months. So guys, are you ready to do the same? If you're ready to get the same transformations as our students, please give me a ready in the chat. Again, guys, if you're ready for the same transformation, please give me a ready in the chat. All right, so again, I will check back on everyone's replies a little bit later, all right? So by having the right guidance at your fingertips, imagine where you could be in 1 year, right? Consider this your fast pass. All right, so guys, now let's talk about common drawing mistakes. So mistake number 1, mindless copying. So a lot of us, we start our journey by copying, right? Like we have this anime that we love, we have our favorite character, and we want to put them on paper, right? So we start copying. And it's fine at the beginning. But then at some point, we realize we can only copy, right? We cannot actually draw anything decent if we have nothing to copy from. And so that's when we feel stuck. And this is related to mistake number 2, underestimating the basics, right? So I just want to remind you, actually that usually, we want our drawings to be perfect, flawless, IG worthy, and we want it now, instant. But the thing is, before you can start running, you need to know how to walk and crawl first. Before you can create a masterpiece, you need to know the basics first, right? So we're in a rush to become better when what we actually need to do is to learn the basics, right? We need to learn the basic shapes that make up the different body parts. We need to learn the guidelines, the proper proportions. But the thing is, this is all boring, right? I have to admit it myself. Like I also skipped the basics at some point, and I thought it was like, yeah, nah, I don't need it. I thought like the mark of a great artist is that you don't need any of this. And I was so wrong, right? Like the true secret ingredient to become great at drawing, amazing at what you do, is actually mastering the basics. And you know what they say? It takes 10,000 hours to master a skill. What about you? How many hours have you invested in your art? So guys, here's what our student Ray actually said. It's amazing when you start out with just lines, squares, circles, and then almost like magic, you're able to eventually draw a hand. So again, guys, don't underestimate the basics because you can definitely create amazing stuff with it. So next, mistake number 3. We purposely avoid guidelines and references because we think it would make us a weak artist. So again, as I just said, great artists know the basics. They use shapes, they use guidelines, and they also use reference photos all the time. So take it from me, I'm the founder. And I've actually worked as a graphic designer and illustrator at a gaming company in Japan. Everyone had an extra monitor just to look at reference photos. Some people would even take a picture of their own body parts, right? Just to make sure it was accurate. So guys, copying and referencing are not the same. When you copy, the goal is to make your output look as close to the original as possible. When you reference, you use the original image as a guide to make your artwork look accurate. It's not the same, right? So for example, let's say you want to draw a sword, but you've never seen a sword in real life. So what do? Do you just imagine it from thin air? No, right? You Google what it looks like. And that's totally fine. Don't feel bad if you cannot draw without reference photos. Google as much as you can. But again, reference, don't copy. Next, mistake number 4, running away. Are you guilty of any of these? So guys, if you're guilty of any of these as I read them out loud, please let me know in the comments, all right? I don't know how to draw hands, so I have my characters hide them. I'm not confident drawing full body characters, so I just do half body. I draw my characters in the exact same angle about 80% of the time. I have a hard time drawing the second eye, so I put long bangs or add shadows to avoid it. I'm scared of destroying my sketch, so I don't ink them. So again, guys, if you can relate to any of these, let me know in the comments. And I'll be the first to admit, I'm guilty of all of these. I'm guilty of everything. If this were a crime, I would be in art jail, and we would be in art jail together. Again, at this point, we have talked to like thousands of artists, and we've met so many of them that actually make these mistakes. They run away, from the hard stuff. And the thing is, I'm not bringing this up to guilt trip you, right? I'm doing this because we have to understand what the problem is first before we can find a solution, right? All of these, is part of what's holding us back. We try to hide our weaknesses instead of facing them head on. It's not fun because it's hard. It's frustrating because we can't get it right. But don't worry, we are here to help you, and it doesn't have to be a hard journey. you don't have to do it alone. And having that community, having that support definitely makes a difference. So this is what our student Bianca said. We were actually practicing how to draw from references. So she said, "This was a rather new experience, and I'm still guessing the forms from stock photo references. I do hope they look like male hands. It's difficult, and I think I'm going to take it slow. It's been fun to learn alongside with you. Should I have been alone in this, I wouldn't get the motivation." All right, so next, let's talk about basic drawing foundations. And one of the most common things that beginners struggle with is actually how to draw full body characters. So guys, the way to be able to overcome this is to start with your basic shapes. The human body is made up of spheres, cylinders, and cubes, right? So you want to start from simpler forms and then flesh out the details. It would be easier and less intimidating to draw full body characters if you know your building blocks, right? So here's a very quick guide on the left. If you want, you can take like a screenshot of this so you could use this the next time you draw, all right? So this is actually what our student Raven said. Something surprising to me was the fact that doing the shapes for the anatomy actually makes me draw faster and more accurately than just drawing straight out. You'd think that I'd take more time and effort, but it really speeds things along for me, right? So this is also one very common misconception that beginners have. They think that if they do the guidelines, if they do like these basic stuff, they think they're going to become slower and it'll slow them down, but it's actually the reverse, right? It'll make you a better, faster, more efficient artist. This is also what our student Ginny said. I saw major improvements since I learned about proportions, especially when it comes to creating characters from scratch. Before, I could only draw half body. Now I can make difficult poses and I feel more confident. I learned a lot about certain guides on how to draw the body. It helps a lot that I can see how the mentors do it live and I get feedback on my homeworks so I know where to improve. It's also helpful to have very engaging classmates. So guys, next, let's talk about how to draw the face. This is a guide of, how to draw a well-balanced face, all right? And when you are drawing a face, there are two shapes that I want you to remember. This circle and a cross, right? So this horizontal line right here, this represents where your eyes are going to start and where your ears are also going to start. So you can feel your face right now. You'll notice that, the starting point of your ears is aligned with your eyes, right? So again, if you want to draw a well-balanced face, from the top of your head to the start of your eyes here, this is going to be 1/2 of your whole face. From your eyes to your nose, this is going to be 1/4. From your nose to your mouth, this is 1/8. And then from your mouth to your chin, this is going to be another 1/8. In case you did not know, the distance between the two eyes is equivalent to another eye. So if you put a third eye right there and it cannot fit, then that means your eyes are too close together. If there's a lot of space, that means they're too far apart, okay? So guys, this is just a basic guide. You can still switch around the proportions depending on who your character is. So you really have to consider, what is the background of your character, right? Is this the main character? Is this a side character? Is this the bad guy? And you'll notice that in anime and manga, you can basically guess who the bad guy is just from how they look. Right? So there are like certain stereotypes for different characters in anime and manga. So this is a great way to communicate your character's personality without, them having to speak or do anything, right? So yeah, again, this is something to consider when you're designing your own original characters. And we also want to challenge you. Can you create the same character with different expressions? Will it still look the same? Will it still look like the same character? Will it look like a totally different character? Can you draw the same character in a totally different angle? Right? If you want to create your own manga in the future, right? Or if you want to do like designs for someone in the future, then you have to know how to do this. And this is actually something that we go through with our students as well. So next, let's talk about how to draw hands. And I know, like hands is probably like one of the most difficult body parts to draw, right? So Here is a simple guide to break down the hands. So here on, like the left, this is, you could see that the hands are actually broken down into simpler basic shapes. So there's like a trapezoid for the palm, a triangle here for majority of your thumb, right? Circles to represent your knuckles, and then, like these long sausages, right? Like divided into 3 parts. So I want you to remember that, and you can look at your fingers right now, right? So your fingers actually have joints on them. And if you want to create, like more realistic looking fingers, less cartoony, you actually want to emphasize like those curves, right? Like on the joints. So if this is still a little bit too difficult for you, you can try out the simpler version on the right. So here you can draw a pentagon to represent your palm, right? Like another triangle for your thumb. Lines here to represent where your fingers are going to end. You draw elongated trapezoids to represent your fingers. You flesh it out and then you add the detail. Again, let's take it very, simple step-by-step process. So this is what our student Nat actually said. I think it helps a lot learning perspective in drawing difficult angles by using boxes or cylinders. Getting into the habit of breaking things down into simple shapes first, like what our mentor teaches us, really helps a lot, not only in drawing hands, but in drawing almost anything. All right, so again, guys, you cannot underestimate the power of basic shapes. So this is what our student Alexa also said. Before attending the session, I found it really hard to draw hands and feet. This used to take so much of my time, and because it was difficult, I would end up just hiding them. But after learning the basics, I realized that it was fun but also challenging. I'm very thankful and glad that I joined this drawing course. I'm looking forward for other sessions. Right, so next, let's learn how to draw like pro manga artists. Professional manga artists actually use dip pens for their artworks. This is a dip pen. It's called a dip pen because you dip it in ink. Right? It's different from, your normal writing pens because they actually have a barrel, right? You keep on writing and then the ink just flows. For this, you draw, you run out of ink, you dip it again, you run out of ink, you continue to dip. It's also called a nib pen. Why? Because the metal tip that you see is called a nib. When you hear the words nib pen or dip pen, they're actually referring to the same thing. So these dip pens are different from your tech pens or micron pens like Unipen and Sakura Pigma or Copic multiliners. So your tech pens and micron pens, they create consistent lines, right? So if you want to create a thicker line, you have to use a 0.8 or a 1.0, right? You can't use a 0.3. That's why there are so many sizes for them. But with dip pens, you can actually control one nib to create different weight variations. So if you want to create a thicker line, you just put more pressure on your nib, just like this, right? Like, this is a thicker line. It was done with this same single nib. If you want to create a thinner line, then you put less pressure. So here's a sample of a manga panel, right? And let's just look at the line art here. You'll notice that there are different line weights. Like for example, here on this character, you notice that the outline of this character is thicker than the details here, for example, in the background for these bookcases. So this is, a very important technique in drawing your line art, so you can actually put more emphasis on your subjects, on your characters, and they don't just like blend into the background, right? So imagine having to draw this for hours on end with tech pens. You'll be wasting a lot of time just switching pens. That's why a lot of manga artists use dip pens. So guys, just as an FYI, dip pens and fountain pens are not the same. Right, for dip pens, the tip is flexible and it's really meant for drawing and maybe even calligraphy. For fountain pens, a lot of them, the tip is not flexible and it's really meant for writing. So now that I've introduced dip pens to you, you might be thinking, oh man, that seems hard to learn. And I can understand why you'd feel intimidated, right? This is not a very common medium. A lot of people have never even seen this or touched this in their lives. But the thing is, it's actually not that hard to learn. So this is an artwork created by our student, Chrysandria, and it was her first time to use dip pens. And you'll notice that she was able to apply the same line variation techniques that we saw earlier in that manga panel, right? So for example, here, let's look at this artwork on the left, this artwork of Deku, right? So she used thicker outlines, right? Like to create the silhouette of the character. The details here, like the folds, like the hair details over here, you can see that she also used like thinner lines, right? Like to create, variations. And it makes the artwork look way more interesting, even though it's just black and white. So this was done by our student Moresca, and he had only been using dip pens for 1 month when he made this. And you could see that he actually used some hatching techniques here in the eye area and the hair area. So there's a gradation. It's not like a sudden, black to white transition, right? There's a bit of gray area there. So this was done by our student Katharina, and she had been using dip pens for 2 to 3 months when she made this. The thing was, very interesting story. Katharina actually bought dip pens a year before joining our course, but she didn't know how to use them, right? They just got stuck in her drawer. And when she joined, finally, she was able to create something amazing like this. This was done by our student. He goes by Echo Dips online, and he had been using dip pens for only 2 months when he was finally able to use it on his original manga drawings. All right, so let's be real. Any medium takes time and effort to master, correct? It's the same with dip pens. You have to practice to get better. Yes, it can be challenging, but with the right guidance, you can definitely learn faster. So guys, again, we are here today because we want to empower more aspiring anime and manga artists just like you. We've been working with our students through our anime and manga character drawing course these past few months. Actually, it's been over a year, for some of them. And here's what they've had to say. So this is from our student Raven. I could tell these were people I could trust to look at my art and help me go forward without me feeling embarrassed or looked down on. So I decided to take a leap. Best decision ever. Within the first 2 classes, my husband was already telling me how he noticed a difference in my work and it was getting so much better. Just seeing how the sensei draws firsthand was a game changer. This is from our student Pauline. And actually, she was on a 6-year art hiatus before joining our course. This was her artwork before she joined. And then this is her artwork after a year of working with us. And she actually used a dip pen, to create this redraw. So Pauline said, the course had helped me a lot correct some of the art problems that I had a hard time overcoming before. The biggest factor for my improvement was the guidance that the mentors provided. They were kind enough to simplify the concepts and teach things in a step-by-step manner. They also make the lessons less intimidating and find ways to make it fun. There are not many courses out there that teaches anime and manga art. That's why this is a highly recommended course to any aspiring manga/comic artist out there. This is from our student Maria. Before, I felt like I didn't have these skills to get what was in my head on paper because I didn't know where or how to start. With all the anatomy and learning basics has helped a lot. Then also drawing every week with my peers has been amazing. I love all aspects of this class. So guys, I have a question for you. You're here because you want to learn how to draw anime characters, correct? You want to improve your art and feel more confident, correct? So would you rather do it yourself or would you rather have a proven path to success? You've seen our students' results. You've read how happy they are with the community and guidance from our mentors. So the question is, do you want in too? If you want in, please type I want in the chat. Again, guys, if you want in, please type I want in the chat. All right, so I see Mystique, Grid Ninja. Hi, Mystique. So I think you've joined us as well in our previous masterclass. So, like, I think you've already watched like a bit of this already. So don't worry, if ever you want to rewatch this again, the replay will be up. So you can definitely take your time to watch this on your, free time afterwards. All right. So I also just want to shout out like New Hewley is with us. Irfan is also with us. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining. All right. So Monier Game said, I want in. Okay, that is awesome to hear. So guys, if you want to make your time doing art more meaningful and more productive, then our anime and manga character drawing course is for you. We are on a mission to accelerate your growth, all while having fun learning together. You will have amazing mentors to guide you. So our first mentor is modern shonen anime artist Steph Pastrano. So these are samples of his artworks. And again, guys, as I mentioned earlier, we are actually going to have a session with him tomorrow, right? So he is going to critique art submissions, and if you want to get a critique from him, please make sure to check our latest post on our social media because we put the link there on how you can submit your artwork. Again, the critiquing is going to happen live tomorrow on our YouTube channel, all right? So again, don't miss that out because we only have a couple of hours left before we close submissions, and then we're going to pick the 10 lucky artists that are going to be featured tomorrow, all right? So guys, that's our first mentor, right? So our second mentor is pro-Japanese manga artist Nao Yazawa. She's actually the illustrator of the iconic 90s shoujo anime Wedding Peach. So she's been in the industry for 30 years already. And she will be mentoring you in the program. And the best part is she can also speak English. So all our mentors know how to speak English. So you can ask them questions and communicate with them directly. Our third mentor is also a professional Japanese manga artist. Her name is Rena Saya. She is actually a teacher at a manga school here in Japan. So you'll also get to learn from her and her 20 years of experience in the professional manga industry. So guys, you will have lifetime access, to get mentorship from these amazing professional artists. You will learn basic drawing foundations, how to draw with dip pens, and how to color with Copic markers. So at the end of it all, you learn how to create your own original characters, right? Like no more copying this time. And we'll also teach you how to create characters for a client. So if in the future you want to do like commission work, you know how to do it. So guys, you will get, if you join the course, you will get lifetime access to self-paced training videos with worksheets and templates. We have a Facebook group with a wonderful community. And, for our live Zoom critiquing sessions, it's every week, once a week, currently every Friday at 8 to 11 p.m. EST. So we might add more time slots if we have like more people coming from different time zones, but for now, most of our students are actually in EST time. So this is what has been working so far. We will also get monthly accountability sessions with your student success coach. So if ever you cannot join the live, don't worry because we will collect your questions and artwork for critiquing beforehand. So even if you just watched a replay, you will still see your questions being answered and your artworks being critiqued. And you will have lifetime access to all these replays, right? So you can use it, review it, learn from it as many times as you want. So the thing is, we're not just taking in anyone. We believe the better the fit, the better the results. So we want to work with aspiring anime and manga artists who want to be empowered. Want in? Here's how the process works. This is for you if you're a beginner anime and manga artist who feels lost and stuck and finally wants to become more confident and proud of your art. This is for you if you want to stop copying and finally create your own original characters and artworks so you can express your original ideas, creativity, and feelings. This is for you if you want to explore your artistic talent and gain more skill and techniques so you can give your art to people that you love or even take on commissions. So guys, if this sounds like you, you're invited to become a member of our anime and manga character drawing course. We are opening our doors and we are starting a new batch on June 19th, right? Like this is less than 2 weeks from now, right? Like very, very exciting. The thing is, we will only take in serious applicants, all right? So this is it, the moment of truth. Right, so you are still here with me right now in this masterclass because earlier you made the decision, right? Like that you will make a commitment to your art, right? That you will take action. That you don't want to get stuck in the exact same situation you came into this masterclass with, struggling with your art. You said you are ready to get the same results as our students. You said you deserve this opportunity and you want the guidance and community. So this is it. The ball is in your court. Will you take action today? Will you empower yourself today? Or will you allow yourself to stay stuck, struggling with your art for the next month, for the next year, for the next decade? So guys, if you are ready to empower yourself, all you need to do is actually let me just send this. I will send this to everyone. All you need to do is just click this link. I will pin this in the comment section, all right, for everyone to see. And for those of you that are interested in joining our community, let me just show you what happens. Give me 1 second. Let me just pin this very quickly. All right. So, and by the way, guys, if ever you have any questions about this, feel free to drop them in the comments and I will be very happy to answer them. All right. So guys, all you need to do is just click this link in the comment section and you will be redirected to a form. Right. So we will ask you a couple of questions about yourself, about your journey so far, as well as your goals. Right. So if we see that we'd be able to help you out, we're going to hop on a call with you. We're going to discuss more. And don't worry, guys, this is just a getting to know you call. All right. So some people feel very nervous about the call. And the thing is, we don't bite. All right. Don't worry. We're just going to ask you again, a couple of questions about yourself, about what you want to do. And if we feel that we can help you, then we can talk more about the program, what we offer, and then we can decide together, if we want to move forward. So guys, what will you be tomorrow if you start today? Take the leap. There is nothing to lose and everything to gain simply just by applying. It's free to apply. It's free to hop on a call with us. It's free to find more information, right? And see if this is something that you want to do. But if you don't do anything, then basically you've given up the chance, right? So guys, I am opening the floor for our Q&A. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. All right. So again, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. For No Jacqueline, I know that you've been with us almost this whole masterclass. So if you have any questions, right, please let me know. If we have New Huli, I'm so sorry. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. So if I am mispronouncing it, please let me know as well. And, I will definitely correct my pronunciation. Please forgive me. All right. So, if Perla is still in the house, if you have any questions for Irfan, for Hani, yes, I'm not sure if I am pronouncing your names right, guys. So again, if I'm mispronouncing your names, please let me know in the chat. I see Lakshmi Bandaru also joining us. Hi, Lakshmi. Welcome. All right. So Mystique said, I've set my alarm for tomorrow. If you can join, then I suggest you if then I suggest you to do it. It's worth the time. All right, that is awesome, Mystique. So again, guys, we have another session, another live on our YouTube channel tomorrow, and our professional mentor Steph Pastrano is actually going to critique art submissions from our fans, from our followers. And if you want to join that, again, please make sure to check out our latest post on our social media so you can actually send in your artwork. So we will be choosing a maximum of 10 people tomorrow that we will be featuring. So, just to make sure I don't get in trouble, and just in case, like it takes some time to critique each artwork, we might have to critique less than 10. So we'll try to, critique as many as possible. So right now we're aiming for at least 10. All right. So, yeah, for those of you, I know, like, for example, Jennifer has submitted her artwork. I think Mystique has also submitted their artwork. So, Mystique said, how will you contact us? So, Mystique, you just have to join the YouTube channel. Oh, sorry, the YouTube live tomorrow, right? Like to see if your artwork was actually featured. So, right now we are still open for submissions. Like we had like a couple of people that, wanted to draw art just for this submission. So we extended the deadline and, we actually like won't know the final submissions until tomorrow, right? So please make sure to come join us live so you can actually see your artworks being critiqued. And guys, I just want to tell you, even if your artworks don't get critiqued, you still can get a lot of value and a lot of learnings just from seeing, like how other people create their art and how these amazing artists actually think, when they see their artworks and how they correct the artworks. All right, so Boruto Uzumaki said, "Hai, sensei." Okay, no problem, right? See you tomorrow. All right, very exciting. Okay, so what about for the people? So right now, I have a couple of people on YouTube interacting with me. How about the people on Facebook, right? So anyone here that is joining our critiquing session tomorrow. So again, guys, it's going to be at 9 a.m. EST on Sunday, right? So for those of you that have yet to submit your artwork, again, please check our latest post so you can actually find the link to send in your artworks for critiquing tomorrow. Okay, so I see Lisa Harris just joining. Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining us. Unfortunately, this is already the end of our masterclass. I highly suggest that you watch the replay if you have time today. And again, if you can come and join us tomorrow, if you have an artwork that you want to be critiqued, please check our latest social media post so you can find the link where you can submit your artwork. And again, join us tomorrow on our live on YouTube so you can see your artwork being critiqued. Okay? All right. So, Mystique asked, how many hours will the session be or how long? Okay, so Mystique, right now, it's gonna be maybe about like an hour and 15 to like 30 minutes. We're imagining it's probably gonna take us around that long. All right. So does anyone else have any questions or concerns? If there's anything you want to raise, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Again, guys, if you have any questions or concerns, please drop them in the chat section. Yes. So is this going to be a problem, Mystique? You're like, oh, is there an issue with the time, how long the critiquing session is going to be? All right. So, no, like I'm trying to say it's good. Okay, perfect. All right, that is awesome to hear, Mystique. Right. Boruto Uzumaki, are you also a good artist like them? So, I have to admit, I feel like at this point, they're definitely much better than me. I cannot compare with Yazawa Sensei, who has like 30 years of industry experience as a professional manga artist. I can't compare to Rena Sensei that has 20 years of professional manga experience, as well as Steph. You know, like he's also like a very gifted like modern shonen anime artist. So our mentors are definitely like very, how can I say it? You know, like definitely like maybe top. You know, if like there's like a ranking for artists, I am pretty sure they are like maybe in like the top 20% at the very least. You know, they're very, very good. All right. So guys, I feel like there are no more questions, right? So on Facebook as well, it seems like there are no more questions. So I will be I will be ending this live. And if you guys have anything else you want to ask, right, like please feel free to just drop them in the comments and we'll try our best to answer them. All right. So for those of you on Facebook, feel free to also send us a DM if ever you have any question and we'd be happy to answer. All right. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And I will see, hopefully, all of you again tomorrow when we do the live critiquing. Right. So, thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of the day. And I hope you enjoy your weekend. All right. Bye bye.